wrote that letter.
You did?
Yeah. I sent it to my mom one day. She knows about the whole dream situation. I sent it to her so she could read it. Maybe she could kind of understand what I've been going through.
Okay, you got to remind me, it's been 3 weeks. We did a dream thing?
Yeah, remember I had a dream about checking my mail.
Oh yeah, drive-by, knife throwing. Well, what have you come to understand? Y'all need to leave if you're going to talk.
All right.
And I'm happy either way, brother.
Okay.
I'd be more happy if you left, if you talk. Not be rude. Appreciate it.
I understand I was going through a lot of things that I was trying to didn't want to accept. I was trying to kind of push them on the back burner and not be willing.
Well, what do you, things and this and what are you talking about?
Like, just I don't know how to answer.
Because I ain't seen you much since we did that. Where you been?
Kind of, trying to.
Because you ain't been in the class. What's up with that?
I get a lot out of your class, but like I was trying to do it like the whole thing about what we talked about and not have anything else like put into my mind on top of that. To be honest with you.
Really? Or is that just shit you tell yourself?
What do you mean? No, I'm being serious.
Okay. So what did you, as you went through that process, because you're still real vague, I don't understand.
I just had a lot of, I guess you could call it soul searching, I guess. I don't really know how to describe it.
Were you sad? Were you mad? Were
I was
you...
sad, definitely. I was kind of confused as to why it took me so long to realize what that was about. The whole understanding what I was trying to cover up.
And what were you covering up?
My actions and my, basically my actions that I didn't want to believe were hurting me, or I was trying to cover up stuff that I knew that I needed to handle in my life that I didn't want to handle.
Which were? Did you see how it's stuff and it's...
Yeah. Like things that happened in my past, like things with my mom, things that I found out about my mom, my dad.
Like what things?
Like,
I mean, if you don't want to talk about it, say I don't want to talk about it. But
I'd rather come and talk to you one-on-one about it.
but you know what you're talking about, and you're just being vague with me. Okay. So, what did you learn about dreams in general?
Not really sure. To be honest with you, I'm not really sure.
Okay. All right. Those, did you have a sense that there's a different way of looking at stuff
Yes.
that got out of here and got back here somehow?
Yeah. Just trying to find the deeper meaning of things. Not looking at something for what it actually is right in front of actually looking at something for what it is, not what it looks like. If that makes sense.
Because so many times we look in the mirror and we think that's us.
Right.
And that ain't us.
Yeah.
We're the one doing the looking. You know? Similar to what I was talking about yesterday, I guess. And the Antifa or whoever struck, I guess they're gonna have to ban rental trucks now.
No more Home Depot trucks.
Was it a Home Depot truck?
Depot rental.
Yeah, $19 a kilo.
I bet what's going to happen is they're going to try to pass some legislation so that there's GPSs in all the vehicles.
Yeah.
That way they could have seen them when
There's some kind of bullshit
That'd be
with that.
something, yeah.
I mean, I hate it for them people and their families that got killed.
All the GM cars out.
If you want to talk, come up here.
Yeah, that's what will happen.
Huh?
I was telling
That's what I'm saying. If you want to be part of the group, be part of the group. If y'all want to go out and have your own special time, go and do that. Okay? Because it's distracting. So what was we talking about?
GPS.
Oh, yeah.
Trucks and government make.
And because it's the media is like a dream. You know, whatever this man's motivation was, I don't know. He probably worked for the CIA, as far as I'm concerned. Because if they didn't do this one, they've done plenty. And then the news cycle starts, and they start making it into whatever, and everybody's all upset. But they're not upset about the 10,000 kids that starved to death in Africa yesterday, or the kids that's getting ass raped right now and their throats cut. You know, right now. And it elicits this whatever, and then there'll be these Facebook meme wars, and then next week there'll be something else, like a dream, and it'll pass away because most of the population is not awake. And we had our cultural Satan celebration last night, or whatever, All Hallows Eve, and millions and millions and millions and millions of little children and their parents dressed up, put on a little persona, which is fine, I don't care. Made Walmart multi-billions of dollars selling Milky Way bars. And want to be scared. Going to the spook houses or whatever and not realizing the real evil.
Yeah.
The people starving, the people getting bombed this morning. The little children that are being sold and trafficked. You know, people cutting up them little fetuses and making earrings out of their little feet.
Crazy. Yeah.
It's a distraction.
You saw that guy that drove, that was a rental truck. He had a BB gun and a paintball gun running out.
The Arab guy?
Yeah. He was carrying things that he wanted everybody to think they were real guns. They were a bit, paintball gun.
How retarded is that?
Pretty much.
Shot, then you probably did.
I mean, I ain't studied it much. I just heard that it happened. I think you told me it happened yesterday. You know. How easy is it for us to project evil onto some character or some person And we have these biological, I'm mad, rrr, and then it blows over and then nothing changes. We go right back to what was.
That's the cycle.
Stalin killed more people than Hitler, and there's statues to Stalin.
Oh, I know.
And so, you're right, we predict who's evil. Stalin was on our side.
They ain't on my side.
Well, whatever, it was on the United States supposedly side.
Oh, yeah.
Victory.
And they were all on the banker side.
History's quality of victory. Right?
And I ain't on the banker side. You know, the idea of America I enjoy and like and respect. We ain't been that in 150 years.
There wasn't anybody neutral in World War II. They all had their goals.
Damn, the Rothschild financed the whole fucking thing.
Right, but the bankers were neutral, remember? How did they provide that?
How's the banker? The banker ain't neutral?
He didn't care who won.
Shut up! Shut up. The bankers wasn't neutral. They wanted to own that shit.
Right, but they just wanted to
The
fight.
bankers was against everybody to get their shit. They wasn't neutral.
They wanted to fight. They made money on both sides.
I know, they was not neutral. They were fucking all them people and all them kids that killed each other.
But they didn't care who won.
They cared if they won.
Right,
They won neutral.
They won.
The war was a manipulation, just like the ones today is.
Agree, 100%.
They want neutral. They're our fucking enemy. They are the enemy of God.
They don't care who wins as long as we fight.
I know.
Right, okay.
They're our enemy. They are not neutral.
Same thing.
They are not neutral. That's the fucking world system that Paul's talking about in the Bible. Because we think evil is spooky and whatever. Evil is boring as shit, and it occurs on bank ledgers. Numbers. That's what Jesus said, wake up. You want a good master? He's still master, you bitch. How much piss do you want in your Coke? You want red piss or blue piss? How about no piss? Well, anyway, it keeps us all fucked up. As y'all, I think sometime in the next, they're going to be pushing for some martial law shit. Right. It's going to be hard to get your heroin under martial law. Maybe you'll get clean then.
How long you think that's going to be?
I don't know.
I don't do heroin, I just wondering.
You better go stock up.
They won't be everywhere at first. They'll start somewhere like Detroit.
I know. Somebody will run through somewhere screaming something. But just watch when all these things happen. If you want to know about it, listen for what kind of legislation they're going to be pushing the next week or two. That's the purpose of it. And they'll all be talking about safety. Public safety. Public don't exist either. It's a concept. That's why they give you traffic tickets for public safety. When you've not caused any harm to anybody. And you got a piece of plastic sticker that ain't the right color. That'll be $200, thank you. Public safety.
Got warrants out right now for that shit. Got multiple warrants out right now for that shit.
No, I got 2 tickets in my truck. I don't know. It seems like to me that shit's getting more and more chaotic. You know, I mean, we were existing as a species for how many thousands of years, and there'd be occasional this, that, and the other. Now we got something new every week. You know, they blew up the Challenger. Y'all remember that from school? And were any of y'all in school? And they had all the kids watching.
So you're saying the Challenger explosion was a fucking inside job? Are you fucking shitting me, man?
I don't know. How much heroin have you done?
Obviously not as much as you. Not fucking enough. Not as good quality, at least.
Thank you, Aristotle.
So close.
And I know you have some, or I've heard you have some investment in the government, so. And they've been through their programs, so.
Yeah, we practice fucking martial law every day, man. We ran drills for that shit.
I know.
We're taking over tomorrow, in case you didn't know.
Okay. Where were you stationed?
Let's see. Phoenix, South Korea, Phoenix, South Carolina.
And what was the purpose of your stationing?
Train pilots to fly a fucking jet.
For what purpose?
War.
For what
Same
purpose?
that every military is about. War.
And what's the purpose of war?
Hell, I don't know. Fighting, killing,
For what purpose?
breaking shit and killing people.
For what
The
purpose?
government
For what purpose?
to make
Protect his people.
rich.
Yes.
Yeah. I know this.
Then why are we at odds?
Because not everything's a fucking conspiracy.
What, rich people don't meet to plan shit? I mean, we have a population that don't own a damn thing, and they think they do. They think money is real.
That's just life, man. Fucking
And some people got together and planned that. Well, and after JFK got shot, it was the CIA that came up with the term conspiracy theory. And said, if anybody questions things, put this label on them. And it's another one of those words that has an IST on the end. That's mind control shit. Conspiracist, misogynist, whatever. You're an ist. You know, and I don't really know what NASA does. I know they were started by Nazis that came over. And that whatever else they may do, they have videos where they're saying they're walking in space. And if you look closely, you see water bubbles. I didn't know there was a lot of water in space. So, you know. It's like we were talking about yesterday. We want to be ruled. And we surrender our authority ideas and concepts, and he said this and she said that. And we don't practice self-knowledge. We learn shit we read in a book, maybe. No. But yes.
So what's the solution? What's the solution?
Yeah.
Total anarchy?
Well, let me tell you what anarchy is. We got these little symbols, or whatever. What does the general population understand as anarchy?
No law,
Chaos.
basically.
Okay. Okay. And means not. Archy, CH, is rule. And it doesn't mean no rule, it means no ruler. Which is what Jesus said. Don't call anybody father or rabbi, except for your Creator. So it's not no rules, it's not chaos. That's what the conspiracist people want to do. They create chaos and have a solution already in place. Like after 9/11, they already had the Patriot Act written, ready. Whoever did it. I do know that the guys that owned that place took out insurance policies a few weeks before it blew up somehow. And stocks were sold and traded based on the airlines that were involved. So I don't know. I do know that those things occurred. I mean, what's the solution that Jesus had? He died. You know? Because we're still, a lot of times, how do we fix the system? And unaware that the system is us. And as long as we're divided, as long as we're asleep, as long as we're worried about this Allah Akbar guy and not about the little children that are starving, or at least as much, the system's going to continue doing what we allow and what we really want. You know? But you're right, the wars are just to create wealth for a few people. That's all. And what they do is they have to get a boogeyman. The current one, I think, is ISIS or whatever the name is now. They probably changed it several times. Here's the boogeyman. And so we have to go drop $500,000 bombs multiple times on goat herders. You know? Create chaos, and then we'll bring in this system, and then we'll put a central bank in there. We'll own the opium fields. The whole American dollar is based on petroleum. You know. But I mean, it's just a monopoly game, all it is, except Caesar, or whatever form it takes, whether it's whatever ocracy, it's just different business models. You know. I mean, when I was growing up, and it wasn't that long ago, this was a republic. And somebody somewhere made a decision to start teaching the little kids in their 12-step programs that this is a democracy. They didn't accidentally go, oh, let's just call it a democracy. Democracy creates an illusion of choice among the choices that are put in front of our face. Most children that go through the government schools don't understand the difference between a democracy and a republic. And what the implications of all that is. Yes, sir?
Do you really think there's anything we could do about it though? I mean, isn't all this part of God's plan ultimately?
Ultimately, God's plan is for you to wake up.
I mean, you're right, but aren't we supposed to go?
And as you wake up, the universe has already changed. It's not for us to do. You know? As people begin to wake up to the idea that they are not what society has taught them, but they are children of God, connected to all this stuff. And we have conversations about this instead of Rihanna's big ass or what Nick Saban's doing today.
Okay, but the reality is that's never going to happen across the population. So what prevents some of these bastards from coming over here and just starting to behead people? Without
They're doing it now.
Without military though.
They're doing it now.
You don't think we're preventing it in any way?
I think we're creating it. If you fly over to if some other country was out here dropping bombs on Randolph, because they found a picture of one redneck with an AK-47, or he got off his meds and went to Clanton Walmart and shot some people. You know, what do you think the people of Chilton County would think about that other country? Because it's not the people of the country, it's their leaders. And after you've seen your mother raped and your daddy blown up, and then your preachers are saying it's that demon America people, which they're kind of right. We are a depraved population. You know, Putin never done nothing to me. You know?
They loved it when Trump said that.
Did he? I don't even know he said it. But he ain't done nothing to me neither.
He literally said that.
You know? Because you got to have a boogeyman. The whole Cold War was, we're going to blow up the universe. Everybody's scared. I remember my daddy, he was shopping for Fallout. They had this big, you remember this when they used to sell Fallout shelters to everybody? Out the Sears Roebuck catalog.
Yeah.
You could buy a Fallout shelter.
When I was a kid, we had to get under the desk and when the nuclear bomb was coming.
That was going to help a lot, wasn't it?
That's right, we got under the desk, wait for the bomb. That was about 1962.
But what I would say, baby, is that first I need to do my part, which is wake up, or begin that. Begin that inward search. Who am I? Who is God? God is my God, not the state of Alabama, not the corporation of the United States that occupies 23 square miles in Washington, D.C. Because on paper, that's who you are. You're not even an American citizen. You're a citizen of the corporation of the United States on paper. Okay? In reality, it's me and you's a soul. And we happen to occupy this part of this world. You know? My allegiance is not to the United States of America. Ultimately. If I believe this story. The United States of America is a blip on history's radar. You know? They had about 50 years of bright light when they did the Constitution and stuff, and then the bankers got involved. Civil War was not about slavery, it was about banks. And then they told everybody, these bad. I mean, there was, you know. Because we're all looking for something to fix us. Somebody to do it. There's not going to be a political savior right in and fix it. That's idolatry. You know, I don't know what Jesus is going to eventually do, but I know me worrying about what Jesus is going to do is not his desire for me. His desire for me is to die so that I may be reborn. so that I can begin to have eyes to see and ears to hear. You know? I mean, and that's all I'm saying, and because a lot of times especially you new guys, I blow shit way out of proportion to get your attention. So you can jump. Okay? Yes, but it is a conspiracy. Because it said that when he left heaven, he got his angels around him and said, let's go fuck these people up. That is the heart of the system. You know, and if we believe that story, then the world system is not run by God. Right? It's run by the first conspiracy guy who talked all his buddies into leaving. So the heart of that system because whether you believe in Satan or not, the people that run the system do. I mean, modern culture is devil worship. Y'all ever watch the Super Bowl lately? It's rituals. Hell, doing the achy breaky heart thing is rituals. How many people on Friday and Saturday nights in the 80s and 90s was all doing the same thing? Or whatever. And then the black clubs that have different stuff. You know? Everybody doing the same thing like robots. And right now, you got the demographic groups fighting, putting all their shit up on the Facebook. And all they're doing is parroting what somebody else told them. Does that make any sense? So I'm a American. Well, I hate America, you know. Well, America's a fucking idea. Me looking at you's real, baby. Where were you from? I spent a year in Zimbabwe. And I've seen what these political ideals do to real people. I saw something, and I don't know it's so because I ain't there, but they say that, I don't remember however many African countries say there's 50 of them, we have troops stationed in 47 of them. Why? We stopping people from chopping off people's hands with machetes? Why? You know? But we stay distracted. You know? Because I think, and don't take nothing I say literally. All I'm trying to do is get you to wake up, think. Because generally, if I say something and it triggers something, that's where to go look. Not because I'm anybody. I'm nobody. You know, I do have some experience of looking at the dark part of me, and figured out it's Halloween shit. It ain't real. You know, and when you start looking through the cobwebs, you see some other things. You know, because most of the bad stuff that has happened to us happened 10, 20 years ago. Right? I mean, this is Halloween. Your drink it ain't even real. It was. There were circumstances that happened that were atrocious. They were horrible. And then for the next 20 years, you repeated that pattern over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying? Okay, now it's Halloween, it's time to do that. Now it's Christmas, time to do that. Now it's Easter, Jesus is going to fly in on his magic Easter egg and sprinkle Jesus dust on us. And somehow a rabbit gets in there. I don't know what the fuck that's about. I do know what that's about. But, you know. But somebody told us, so okay, it's their fault if it's wrong. It ain't their fault if it's wrong. Because if even you say the Bible tells me so, you're the one giving the Bible the authority. Because that come in a Sunday school song, because the Bible told me so. I don't think Jesus said the Bible told you so. You know? I mean, how many of y'all were taught coming up that the wise men was there when Jesus was born?
Yeah.
They weren't. And them same people that'll have their little Christmas plays with the wise men will say, the Bible is the Word of God. Except for the wise men shit, so don't ask about that. You know, and I ain't trying to take nothing away. Religion is a good tutor. It's like training wheels, you know. But knowing the truth is the only way to be set free. Not believing it. Right, brother?
That's right.
I mean, you good?
Yeah.
Come sit up here with me. Next week. So we can talk. I think you may have some good stuff to add.
Magi came like he was 3 years old.
Yeah. And they were basically sorcerers, magicians.
Yeah. Astrologers, train loads of, for them to, the amount of gifts they brought for him would have been like a freaking convoy. Not just 3 dudes.
You know, in Genesis 6, it says the sons of God was fucking the humans.
Yeah.
What's that about? Well, ain't you ever heard a sermon on that? I mean, there's a few little people, you know, that'll talk about it. And it created the mighty man. You know, they had 6 fingers and stuff. And they was redheaded. And I don't know, I wasn't there, but I seen stuff where people have found big redheaded people with 6 fingers. Skeleton shit. You know, that don't fit with the wise men and the Santa Claus. And the Republicans are good, or the Democrats are good. Or, you know. So I don't know the answer because that's not my part. You know, because generally because I've been chasing down all these rabbit holes for 6 or 8 years now, and finally figured out they fucking lie. You never know the answer to any of these things, really. The only thing you really need to know is they fucking lying. You know? And if I'm going to know some truth, it's not going to come from somewhere else. Does that make any sense? Okay. You know, hell, I'm 54 years old. I got all kind of paper on the wall that says I'm supposed to be smart. And all I did was write enough papers so they give me another piece of paper. You know, and go round and round in all these little theoretical, theological, philosophical things. And in all that training, because I went to seminary because I wanted to know something. I thought, maybe a seminary, they're going to teach me about God. They ain't teach me about no damn. They taught me how to write papers. And the medium of exchange in school is you get these little marks. You know, they don't even give you money or nothing. And they train you, if you're going to be a pastor or something, they train you to teach other people the same stuff you got. And y'all ever been to church most of your life and go, what's this? Somebody ain't telling me the secret. There's got to be some kind of secret here. I'm looking around, these people seem okay, but maybe God don't love me like He loves them. Y'all, you know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. They're not withholding nothing from you. They don't know. They like the game, and that's fine.
Most of them wearing the same mask as everybody else.
You know? I mean, hell, a corporate church, they sign a contract as an agent of the state. There is no separation of church and state. There never has been. It's an illusion. A nonprofit corporation basically, functionally says, we will not talk about politics as long as you don't tax us. So we can keep our shit. Period. And they'll have these fake little things like, oh, they need to tax the churches. Yes.
They didn't tell it the black churches did, when they see the mark out.
Well, it's not black churches, it's certain
Yeah,
political things.
right.
And when was Martin Luther King killed?
He died in 67, 68.
68, so I was 5 or so. And I mean, his main message was see through the color, right? He says, turn the other cheek, to be nonviolent. That's how you defeat these people.
And they killed him.
And there were black people, white people, men and women, all marching together. That became the threat to the state. It's because people were uniting. In the early 60s, there was a lot of tumult in the college campuses. They didn't like the wars. They didn't like a lot of what was going on. And it was a righteous kind of no. And then somebody somewhere met in a room somewhere and said, let's get this dice whatever acid. You know? And that whole thing went from anti-war, the government's being tyrannical, to let's just fuck and be naked all the time. And dance around with flowers. And that church still exists. You know? Jesus died, what was it, when did Jerry Garcia die?
Early 90s, mid-80s.
And then Bob, Weir? He's the resurrection of the Warlocks. And Bob Weir does concerts at the Bohemian Grove. You know, I watched a video of him and Al Gore sitting and laughing and talking. And, you know. You know, I mean, but all that can be very distracting and fun, but the hippie movement could have been this great thing. And there it's just funny. And now they got their own little stuff with their psychedelics, and so that's communion. You know, we're at one and they dance funny, yeah. And it's fun. I've been hanging around hippies. It's fun. You know. But they're just like a Baptist church, only different. If you show up without a tie-dye shirt, they look at you like you're a narc. Right? Y'all ever been around a hippie? And you have to speak a certain language. And they don't really are aware of it. They're pretty much all politically progressive left. They're not aware of it, but it's knee-jerk stuff. You know, they're wanting freedom, kind of, but they want the state to make sure everybody's free and equal. And that stereotype of the hippies too, but it's just been my encounter with it. You know, is all of that stuff it can be a distraction. It can help wake us up a little bit. You know. Just because I don't care if the earth is flat or a ball. I step about 3 feet at a time either way. You know. But there's some weird shit going on. You know. Because I don't remember the formula, but if the earth is 24,000 miles or whatever, every mile, it should be dropping 8 inches. Right? Right? And so when you're out looking at a lake or on the ocean and you see the ship going over the horizon, you go, oh, well, that ship's round. Unless you get a laser telescope or whatever. I mean, you're the Air Force guy. You know?
Deal with any fancy shit.
And you get a telescope, and after and the ship comes into view, you know, water don't curve; it's flat. And if gravity is so whatever, how do butterflies fly? You know, how does billions and trillions of gallons of water not spin off this motherfucker? I don't know. You know? So, I mean, you know. But that's not even important. What's important is, am I encountering God? Am I becoming aware that I'm a part of this creation? That my growth is like, it's very similar to an acorn. An acorn doesn't go to school to learn how to be a tree. It sits still and God does it. So often we're tempted to try to fix ourselves. And we can't. Because we didn't create ourselves. We don't even know who we are or what we're intended to be. Y'all hear me? And our addiction stuff is just, it's really a desire to be alive and real. For the most part, I think. It's not evil. The tragedy is that it's an illusion, and it's a God. It's our God. You know when I was playing like yesterday about crack, said, get up, bitch, go get me a weed eater. That's our God. Or that woman, or that whatever. And the only way that we give our power over to idols is that we don't know who we are. Because one day I think we are going to, I'm going to have to face the idea that, in some manner, that this United States, this legal fiction is not my God, and they may throw me in jail for something. They may beat me up. They may take my shit. It's real. You know, but Paul says, get along with everybody as much as you can. Pray for those in authority over you. Maybe they'll get some Jesus or something. You know? But you have to remember the state. Paul wrote all that and says, just chill. Don't go be poking the snake. Retard. You know, and then get mad that the snake bit you. But the state killed him. I mean, all our heroes in the New Testament all got killed. What's Jesus calling us to do, folks? Sit still in our pew and not masturbate during church? I don't think so. And again, I'm blowing shit out of proportion. Don't jump. I mean, is this real or not? I don't know. You know? He calls us to death. Death sucks. You know? And I went through all this stuff in more detail 2 or 3 months ago. And it's on the YouTube if any of y'all ever want to go look at it. And today, tomorrow, next week, what are you contemplating? What are you paying attention to? That's the only valid question you need to ask yourself. You know. And when those sad things come, when those fears come, when that shame comes, when somebody triggers you out here, what's all that about? You know? And rather than trying to avoid those things, and you don't go stir them up either. It's like a burp. When it's ready, it'll come. You know, you can't make a turd no faster because you willed it. You just eat and it happens when it's ready. So you don't have to go explore all your past, whatever. Whatever's in your face is what you need to, because it's time.
It's good.
You know, don't be, because you can spend 3 weeks wondering what you need to be paying attention to. And you ain't paying attention to shit. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
What's in your face? What's going on in your body? How do you feel? Begin to recognize the anxiety. That's what breathing's about. You know? I mean, you didn't make your lungs, you didn't make the oxygen, you didn't even make the desire to want to breathe. And if you're paying attention to it, you breathe, and if you're not paying attention to it, you breathe. It's out of your control. If you hold your breath and pass out, you'll start breathing again. Your mental stuff doesn't do that. Every day, your cells are being replaced. You live in a different body. Totally, I think it's like than you were in 7 years ago. If somebody beat you up when you was a kid, you ain't even in the same body. That's gone. That ain't real. You know? The program might be. The emotional programming and the program, what is it? Program pattern predictable responses. I mean, that's how they do shit. It's based on a guy named Hegel. It says you have a create a problem and then a solution. And you get people 2 choices. I mean, it's simple stuff, but we get confused by all these little details. You know? Does that answer your question at all, baby, about the answer? So I don't know the answer for the world. And when you first start thinking about this, I've thought that myself. What the fuck?
Yeah.
What can you do? And even that is a distraction from what I need to be doing.
Love God, love people.
And ourselves. Quit sticking shit in our body that fucks us up. You know? Not go around in an orange robe with a bald head and go, oh, bless your child. You know, that's fine too if you want to do that. You know, be you. What are you good at? What do you like? What turns you on?
Watch fish.
Huh? Or what's your trade or your...
I was a mechanic.
Do you like that?
No.
No? I mean, what do you like? I happen to like talking to crackheads, apparently. I've done this shit for 17 years, they ain't paid me $1.
Yeah. How long have you been here? 17
years.
Oh, eternal?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I've seen all this shit turn over 4 or 5 times. I mean, they're used
Crackheads coming.
Huh?
Still got crackheads coming.
Are people that, God's children that believe they are crackheads anyway. You know, and give life to that fiction.
Yeah.
You know. And so when I'm poking at folks, I'm not trying to hurt nobody or win no argument. If I win, I lose. Because if I'm interacting with someone and I shut them down without some kind of process going on then I've lost, because if they don't wake up, I lose. My motivation is not to be a guru.
Trying to help open a lot of closed minds.
Because I want y'all, I need help.
We're trained to have
I'm-
closed minds.
I'm-
Not
yes.
buck the system, not ask questions. Just do what we're told.
And bucking the system is basically, no, you're not God. It's not AK-47s, and if you do that, they're just gonna go Ruby Ridge your ass and say you was fucking all these kids, and it'll be over. I mean, hell, people. When Kennedy was shot when I was 9 months old, so however many, 54 years ago, they just now started to tell the truth about it. And they still ain't put it all out there. So if you think the current government, oh, they got saved, so it's the same shit. That's all you need to know. It doesn't matter if the bullet went this way or that way, or where his head blew up, or it's like fucking lying. And when Jesus talks about the truth, he's talking about real truth. What's the real truth? And the truth will set you free. So, you know, there is a, I don't know what would be a good word. There's some energy in you, around you. I don't know how it exists on the quantum level or whatever, but that's trying to get your attention. You know? And not because you're a bad boy. Y'all ever get to feeling bad and think, well, like you went to church and you danced around at Bethel and they put some Crisco on your forehead for the first time and you feel free? And do that. I would encourage it. Especially if you've not been around Pentecostals. Go see what that's about. Because if nothing else, what it is getting you out of your ego. For the first time. Because if you've ever have done that, or if you've not yet, the only way for that to work is you surrender control. And you emote toward God. Very similar to when before a preverbal infant will babble at their mother. And it creates connections. And the baby's not going, well, did I say that right? I don't know. He's just going, and he's sucking that titty and looking at mama. And mama's going, that's what speaking in tongues is about, at least in some part of it. And the issue ain't speaking in tongues or not. The issue is, are you getting out of your ego? Are you surrendering control? Or are you going, oh, this is stupid. I'll look silly. Well, fuck, you've been sucking dick for crack for 6 years and you're afraid of looking silly? Or whatever. Again, don't get don't get your ass in a knot. Because we all are crackheads and have sucked dick and have fallen short of the glory of God. That's what that means. None of us are worthy, or except in our mind. I'm better than that crackhead. You know what I'm saying? And then we blow smoke up our own ass and it goes round and round and round and round and round and round, and we get tireder and tireder and tireder. And I hope you're getting tired so you can rest. Jesus says, take my yoke upon you, for it is light, it's easy. Jesus don't call us to work hard. He calls us to death, to take the easy way. But because we're so addicted to our thinking and our ego sense,
Seems hard.
it seems hard. And actually, it's the easiest thing in the world is quit thinking. Feel. You know? And you can't help, you can't not think, because then you'll be thinking about not thinking. You know, I mean, it's, there's a place between. Any of y'all drummers, y'all know what playing in the back of the pocket is?
Yeah.
And the difference between Nine Inch Nails or Motley Crue and Parliament, that's another universe. And this ain't literal, but many times we live our life up here, trying to play faster, so I got two pedals now, you know, right on top, front of the beat, whiteboard drumming, you know.
64th notes.
Yes. And what I'm talking about is more back here. Because if you can't play in the back of the pocket thinking about it. Do you understand what I'm saying? What else would that? You can't float in water thinking about it. Anybody ever learn to float? You think about it, you sink. Y'all ever tried that? You go, oh shit. But there's a space in there where you have to allow yourself to maybe drown, and then you'll float. You have to surrender control, because you're 85% water anyway. It's your home. And that's all I'm talking about with all this stuff, guys. You know, whatever happened to the Challenger or not is irrelevant, really. What happens to you is the issue. Is that good? Bye.